Here we are, viewers. This is the Bourke St Mall. This is where it all started out for me. This is where I started out. Maybe 12 years ago or 20 years ago, this is where I started out trading. At that time, they had no steel pins here. All this was open. The trams were running, but it was packed. I mean, it was fucking shoulder to shoulder in here. You couldn't move. We didn't have any of these other... But all of this here, this is where we set up. This is where we are, the itinerant trading. This is where we traded. And we traded here for nearly 11 months, where these steel pylons are. And facing Myers, selling the perfume and the jewellery and the ties and everything else that we were selling on the day. And we lasted, I think, about 11 months. And my spot, I can still point it out to you boys, is right here. This is where I set up on me crate, right here in this spot here, facing Myers. Okay, and that's the perfume department and your makeup department and all that kind of stuff right there. And this is where I set up. This is right here. Okay, and next door to me, about 2 feet away, they would have Danny. You'd have Danny the Irishman. You'd have fucking Hollywood George working here. You would have fucking all of these different demonstrators all the way along. And they all thought they were smart asses. They'd stand in front of where I was doing my work, doing my demonstrating with the perfume and jewellery. And I'm sitting there one day and I'm working away, boys. I've got a crowd in front of me. And you're facing this way on a crate, right? You're facing this way on a crate. And what they would do is they'd stand on this side and they would stand in front of you, blocking you. Okay, so you couldn't do any trading. And I'm sitting on a crate and the boys are standing up at the time, right? Now don't forget, we've got all this set up. All this is set up with their fucking shit they're selling, right? And on that particular day, they're standing there, they're blocking me off right in front of me, and I started laughing at them. I started fucking laughing, right? And the guy's gone, "What are you laughing at? You know, you're not earning any money." I said, "In case you didn't realise, you dumb fat cunt," I said, "all of your stalls here have no staff on them because the staff are standing in front of me. So if you think I'm not earning any money, yeah, you're not fucking earning any money either, you fucking dumb fuck." That's what I said to him. Said to Hollywood George, said to the fucking Danny, said to all them English cunts. I said, "So why don't you back the fuck off and go to work, mate?" That's what I said to him. So they all fucked off and left me alone because, I ain't going anywhere and you cunts are English and I'm Australian. So I ain't fucking moving, cunt. The only cunt that's going to move here is fucking you, straight back to fucking London. That's the only cunt that's going to fucking move here. So there was pandemonium and war for about 2 or 3 days, the entire mall. The English boys were fighting, I was fighting, fucking, I ain't backing down from none of these cunts, man. Fucking none of them. We're in Melbourne. And what saved me is around the corner, around Swanston Street, around the corner, my mate, who I used to work for, he had a shop. And the English boys were using some of his stock on the stall. But what they were doing was they weren't actually selling the stock. They would put his stock under the table and they would sell their own stock on the display, and they would just tell him that, yeah, because they wanted to keep him sweet. Okay, because he's in charge. You're not going to be able to do what you're doing without getting his permission. So I actually went around there and said, "Look, this is what's going on." He said, "No, they're not. They wouldn't do that. They know better than to do that." I said, "Come with me, have a look, you know." So he's actually kind enough to me, because I've known him since I was a kid, to walk down the mall with me. And he's looked at his stock. He's walked up behind the stall like I am now, and he could see that his stock was under the tables and none of it was on display. So that was it. I said to him, "They're just putting the block on me. They're putting the block so I can't get the stock from you, and it stops, you know what I mean? So I can't buy the stock because you're supplying them already." He said, "Right." He's fucking so full on, man. He's Australian. He said, "Right." He said, "Fucking I understand what's going on." He said, "Fuck them, fuck what they want, fuck their plans." So he went straight up to the table, pulled the stock out from their fucking table, all their fucking tables pulled the stock out from their table, and took it straight down to my stall, and said, "Don't ever fucking say boo to him. You say anything to him, you'll be dealing with me." So I had the protection. I had the full protection of this gentleman. He said, "You come anywhere near him," he said, "I'm going to fucking thrash the whole lot of you." He says, "You won't last until tomorrow morning." He says, "I'll destroy everything you fucking own." So that's how I began. That's how I began. And from there, I actually got a job with a gentleman around the corner. I worked for him for 2 years in the shop around the corner, which I forgot to photograph for you before I walked past. And that's where I began my work, was around the corner. And I lived in Toorak, in South Yarra. I had a little apartment there. You could get an apartment for about $180 a week. And I was sharing with one of the other staff at the shop. And that's where I began. We both lived there and come into the city every day and work in the city, and And it was really exciting, you know. I had a suit and a tie, and you know what I mean, at the start of life, yeah. And that's how you begin, ladies and gentlemen. You start off with nothing. You know, I came here with a suitcase and clothing from Sydney, and a couple of bucks in my pocket, and that was about it. And just motivated to do it all. So my sister's in here doing some shopping in David Jones, having a look around, and I'm going to go to the Minotaur comic book shop because I haven't been there since I was, in 15 years. So I want to see the Minotaur comic shop and go to the Comics R Us comic shop. So it just brought back a lot of memories looking at the windows. Like, it just brought back so many memories for me, sitting here and thinking about it. So I thought I'd share it with you. But this is where I began. This is where I first began in Melbourne. I come to Melbourne with just a bag and nothing. Didn't know anybody. And I seen the English boys set up here. Seen them all set up, and I thought, fuck that. If the English cunts can get away with it, yeah, I'm fucking Australian cunt. Move over. That's what I thought to myself. Move the fuck over. This shit is, he said, you can't sit up here. You can't do what, I said, don't tell me what I can and can't fucking do. English cunt. Get the fuck away from me. It was full on, man. I was really nasty to them. And I ended up travelling to Sydney with them and working the Sydney streets with them. Because afterwards we made friends, and because I stuck up for myself and I wasn't a little bitch. Danny and George and Hollywood really liked me. You know, they really, really liked me as a stand-up guy. You know, that's what they called me. You're a stand-up guy. You know, you're not a little bitch. And he said, we really like that, you know, because that way we can rely on you. You know, if something happens to us, we know that you're not going to be a fucking bitch and cave into whatever's going on. And so I become like really good friends to him. I ended up living with Danny. He was the enemy at the start of it. He was the big English guy, a big Irishman that come into me at the start and said, no, there's going to be a problem if you set up. I said, there's already a fucking problem, cunt. You standing in here talking to me about my problems. That's a problem, okay? That's a problem on its own. So you're going to have to fucking work that out for yourself, mate. I just started laughing at him, right? So I ended up moving in with him and living with Danny for a few years. I had a great laugh with him. I really enjoyed my time with him. Taught me a lot. But anyway, I thought I'd just pass on that memory to you. Just a magic memory for me. Really good time in my life. You know, earning money, had a nice apartment. I was pulling the chicks out of Myers here. That was the perfume department. And I would actually pull the chicks out of the perfume department. You see them all there, the Dior and all that? Yeah, I'd pull the chicks off them. Because they would actually come out and complain to me. You know, why are you selling perfume? You shouldn't be outside of the Myers doing all of that. And because they've got the name tag on, I'd call them straight away, hello, how are you? Bang, bang, bang. Look, how much do they pay you, love? He's got, look, how about I give you 120? You take the day off, I give you 120, and you can stand out here opening a bag up for me, doing the crowd opening a bag up. And I swear to God, I'd pull the shields that way. Just offer them 120 for a few hours work. Give them $30 or $40 an hour to stand there. So they'd go home, they'd go and get changed, come back, and they'd be standing at the fucking stall, mate, the entire day. And they turn up the next day to do a couple of days' work and then go back to the Myers. But I ended up with Mari. I met Mari doing that. She was gorgeous, man. Fucking hell. She was absolutely gorgeous. I was with her for 3 years. And then I met Susie. I met Susie here. And she was gorgeous, a Yugoslavian girl. And I was with her for 4 years. Fucking hell. Yeah, I was with her for a few years. She was hot, man. Fucking hell. She was so gorgeous. And she worked in the Myers perfume section of Myers. So there you go. There's some history for the Lord Dobby fans for you. Okay, this is where it all began. Okay, enjoy your day. It's another video, and I'll move on to the next subject. Thank you very much for viewing. Give me a thumbs up, you bastard.